right, first and foremost, I want to say, call out Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. What I just said is all praises to the Father in the name of the Son. I also want to say Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, Barakatah wa Shalom. May the Most High and Christ bless and peace. Right? We're gonna get right into it. Just like the title say, man, we're getting straight back to that Torah series, man. I'm a little bit too high on this camera, so we're gonna lower that a little bit. And hopefully it's not too high no more. All right, so we're going to start right at Exodus 7, verse 1. And we're going to work our way all the way to Exodus chapter 12. This is typically going to be 6 chapters per part, like I discussed in the last Torah series. And we're going to just go through it and put the precepts where they need to go according to what I got up here. And if not, we're just going to read through it for the most part, but we are going to get through all 6 chapters. So let's get right into it. So this is Exodus 7, verse 1. Bear with me if I'm sound like my words coming out a little muffled. I'm dealing with abscess in the mouth here, and it's just another issue with my health, man. Non-stop, ain't nothing too much you can do about it, but we're going to start at Exodus 7, verse 1. And Yahweh said unto Moses, See, I have set thee a God to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron shall speak unto Pharaoh that he send the children of Israel out of his land. Let me just make sure I didn't get this already, because I thought I didn't get the 7th chapter. Just going on my channel real quick, seeing what we got going. What was that last chapter? So it says 6 was the last chapter. All right. So this must be reiterating what the end of 6 was saying. But Exodus 7, verse 3, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. So this is where the plagues is going to start coming, man. Actually, they already started really hitting, but they're going to start hitting crazy, man. Hitting crazier, man. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt and bring forth my armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments, man. Right? So the Lord put it on Pharaoh, man, to not listen to Moses, so that the Most High Yahweh may do these things, man. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I stretch forth my hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them. What I just said pretty much goes into what from verse 4 is what was just said in verse 5, right? And Moses and Aaron did as Yahweh commanded them. So did they, right? And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old when they spake unto Pharaoh. So Moses was 3 years younger than Aaron, man. 83 and 80, man. Continuing on, and it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when let me adjust some things over here. I got a lot of stuff in the way over here, and I just want to make sure I got my stuff that's written down here still in the process here. So it says, got my pen today, and it says, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. Now we got to remember that the Lord told Moses to do the serpent rod first, and then the leper's hand, right? As a sign to know that he is Yahweh liveth, man, and Yahweh is real to the children of Israel, man. Right? And it says, and Moses went and unto Pharaoh, and they did as Yahweh had commanded, and Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. This would be exactly what was showed, man. And it says that then Pharaoh called the wise men and sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did like manner with their enchantments. So they were able to emulate or replicate the same thing that Yahweh had them do with the rod, man. Right? For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents, but Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. So the Lord was like, yeah, they could do it, but they can't beat me. Right? The Lord was like, look, y'all could probably do it, but y'all ain't gonna beat my rod, man, my serpent, right? This is the Lord's work here, man. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them as Yahweh had said. So Pharaoh was still stubborn, man, stiff-hearted, man, right? And then, right, here I have blood, water. So this is what's gonna happen, right? So we're gonna continue on here, right? And we gotta remember the things that I said. The first two, the serpent rod and the leper's hand, that was a sign to show unto Israel. This here is a sign from Pharaoh, right? So he's not going to do all those things that he said to Moses in front of these people, man. This was for the Israelites, right? So, and Yahweh said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened. He refuses to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning, lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come, and the rod which was turned unto a serpent thou shalt take in thine hand, and thou shalt say unto him, Yahweh Elohai shall Hebrew, right, or Yahweh power of the Hebrews have sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness, and behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. So we're gonna just make sure that that's in Elohai. We're not gonna get rid of that. We're just gonna continue scrolling down. Right, and thus saith Yahweh, in this thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. That's what's next, man. So continuing on, and the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, and upon their streams, and upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that they may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. And Moses and Aaron did so as Yahweh commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh, in the sight of his servants, and all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. So the Lord said he was going to do it, and he did it. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magicians of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. So they was like, look, y'all probably this is probably what Pharaoh was thinking. And it don't say it here, man, but he's probably thinking, y'all crazy, man, right? I got enchanters and these people here, man, they could do the same thing you could do, man, right? And this Pharaoh not familiar with how Joseph was the one that was able to discern the dreams, man, right? This Pharaoh not even able to understand how great it was to have Joseph in a captivity, man, or Joseph in a presence, man. Now he got the Egyptians, the Israelites in his captivity, and he's not treating them fairly, man. So continuing on, man, right? He thinking that because the enchanters can do the same thing that they man. This is what my thought process is, man. That's not what the scripture says verbatim, man, but you could get the inflection and tone of that in the scripture, man. And it says, and Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he set his heart to this also. And he didn't set his heart on that, man. And all the Egyptians dig round about the river for water to drink, where they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled after that Yahweh had smitten the river. Now, Exodus chapter 8. We just going through this, man. This is more so reading, man. I'm not going to give you too much precept upon precept with these, because I did do a Passover breakdown, and I did do a Passover breakdown, and what was the name of the video? Upcoming announcement video. So if you want to check out what I did, what I spoke on for Passover, check that video out. This is not going to be a breakdown for Passover. It's not going to be that. It's just going to be us going over it and then precepts up where we need them, right? So Exodus 8:1, right? Frogs is next, right? So it says, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, go unto Pharaoh and say unto him, thus saith Yahweh, let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all the borders with frogs. And the river, Salakia, and the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up. Hold on, I want to write frogs down. I should have wrote that down. Salakia. And the river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thy kneading troughs. Right? So it says that frogs gonna be everywhere, man. Picture you got frogs in your bed, you got frogs in your house, you got frogs in your servants' houses, man. You got frogs among all your relatives and your people, man. And then when you go to cook, you go in the oven, you see frogs. And then the kneading troughs, which is just basically how they knead the bread and everything, man. Sometimes that would have, modern day it would be machinery. Back then it might have been something that was more so hand operated, but it was a machine-like. So the kneading troughs, man, that's what it is. And let's just get that out to Hebrew, because we're not trying to add to the scripture. I'm almost sure that's talking about kneading the dough, man. But store, kneading trough, or bowl. So it's talking about a bowl pretty much to keep the. In my sense, that would be for bread, but it don't necessarily have to be for bread, right? And the frog shall come up both on thee and upon thy people and upon all thy servants. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying to Aaron, stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and call the frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. So look, the Lord said, look, now we're gonna make it happen, right? And Aaron stretched out his hand over the borders of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. So they came up out the water, and they was ready to go, man. And all the magicians did so with their enchantments and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. Why would they want to match the same thing that the Israelites doing, man? Right? You know you're bringing more burdens and more plagues upon you. So they doing this, man. And they trying to prove, oh yeah, we could do it too. But you causing more pestilence for yourself, man. That's what happens in America, man. Right? America, they try and give us and it ain't the same, but they try and give us the ideology that the clouds is made through it's ultra MK or something like that. I don't want to get to say the words that get me automatically banned from YouTube. But yeah, the government controls the weather, but when it's bad weather, man, now they be like, look, the government controlling the weather, but it's really the Most High, man. The government ain't controlling these earthquakes in diverse places, man. The government ain't controlling this terrible weather or this fluctuating weather that we be getting, man. The government not doing it. Yeah, they may be able to do it partially, man, but when it comes to mass amounts of terrible weather, man, it's the Lord, man. Tsunamis taking out whole towns and cities and countries, man. That's the Lord, man. It's not the enchanters that's doing this, man. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, entreat Yahweh that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go, that they may do sacrifice unto Yahweh. So he is being deceptive here. And Moses said unto Pharaoh, glory over me, when shall I entreat for thee and for thy service and for thy people, to destroy the frogs from thee and thy houses, that they may remain in the river only. And he said, tomorrow, and he said, be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto Yahweh our power. Right? Elohai, I think that's going to be Yahweh, Nawa, that's Elohai Nawa. Elohai Nawa, or Elohai Nawa. That's our God. Yahweh, right? So, and it says, and the frog shall depart from thee, and from thy houses, and from thy servants, and from thy people, and they shall remain in the river only. And Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried unto Yahweh because of the frogs which he had brought against Pharaoh. So Pharaoh couldn't get his enchanters and everything like that to do the same thing that Moses and Aaron could do, man. But Pharaoh still didn't want to do anything that he was lying pretty much. He wasn't keeping his words when he said, "Yo, look, take these frogs away, do this, remove the blood, this, that, and the third." Man, he wasn't about that, man. Right? And Yahweh did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. It ain't like they actually died, but they left, right? And we could get that. I would just rather get the word died. It's mawath, which in Hebrew could be dead, right? Die, dead, slay, die, surely killed, dead man, dead body, in no wise. So to die, kill, have one executed, die, to die as penalty, put to death, to die, perish, right? To die prematurely by neglect of wisdom, to kill, to put to death, dispatch, right? To kill to death, to be killed, put to death, to die prematurely. So this could also mean that they left. And then we got these uses here to die. It says casualtively, to kill at all, right? Crying, right? Dead, dead body, dead man, dead one. Put to, worthy of, put to death, put the worthy of death. Destroyer, cause to, be like to, must, right? And then also it says, and that's all inflections with die. Die, killed, necromancer, must need, slay, surely, barely, sudden. So that could mean that the Lord caused them to leave very suddenly and no wise. So it could mean a bunch of different things. And I would think that they left away. But even if they did die, it is what it is. The Lord said what he said, right? And this Exodus 8 and 14, and they gathered them upon heaps, and the land stank. So they said, look, they gathered them. So actually they did die. I just go with what the scriptures say, man, right? We're not going to go off of how I feel. We go off of what the scriptures say, right? So, but this is saying that they died because the land is stink, man, right? The fish died and the land stink, right? If the frogs died, the land will be caused to stink. So it makes sense that they died, right? But when Pharaoh saw that there was a respite, he hardened his heart. I want that word respite. I actually want the definition of respite before I go into anything else. So it says a short period of relief from something difficult or unpleasant. So he said it was a little bit of rest, man. Right? They had a little bit of rest period, man. He hardened his heart and hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh had said, man. So the Lord told him that was gonna happen, man. Now we're gonna get the insects, right? So it says, Exodus 8 and 16, and Yahweh said unto Moses, saying to Aaron, stretch out thy rod and smite the dust of the land, that it may become lice. I wrote the wrong thing, right? And it throughout all the land of Egypt, right? And they did so. So for Aaron stretch out his hand from his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast, and then all the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. So everybody had lice, man, right? The beasts, the animals, everybody, right? And all the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. So they couldn't even bring forth the lice, man, right? Let's make sure we not. Okay, so they was able to do this stuff prior. I just wanted to make sure that we got this right. But this one, they weren't able to emulate, man. Right? And it says, and the magicians did so with their enchantments to bring forth lice, but they could not. They tried to do it, but they couldn't. So there were lice upon man and upon beast. And then the magician said unto Pharaoh, this is the finger of the Most High. Now they starting to get that, yo, maybe these people do got the Most High on their side, right? And let's get that word for God, because when they say God, what is it? Elohim. So this is the finger of powers, man, right? And it says, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened, even though they said it to him, and he hearkened not unto them, as Yahweh had said. So the Lord, the Lord ultimately did this to Pharaoh, because it was the Lord's will, man, right? I'm just looking for this. Okay, it's only one. Okay, so this is Romans chapter 9, verse 17. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore he have mercy on whom he will have mercy, and he will on whom he hardeneth. Right? So the Lord had ultimately hardened Pharaoh's heart, man. Because he was like, look, you ain't about to be able to buck up against me for too much longer, man. Who I harden, that's who I'm going to harden, man. Right? So the Lord was like, look, I'm doing this for a reason, man. Right? And even though the magicians told him, look, this is the Most High, man. This is powers, man. This is the angels, man. This is the spirits, man. Whatever the word they use in that ancient word, man, or whatever inflection they use it in, man. Pharaoh still wasn't listening to them, man. Right? The magicians were able to do the things prior, man. But once they wasn't able to make them lights pop up, man, then they were like, yo, man, there's got to be Yahweh, man. Or there's got to be Elohim, right? And Yahweh said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and say unto him, thus saith Yahweh, let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies. So the Lord warned him that he was going to send flies, man. Flies, man. And he says, lo, he cometh forth, okay, yeah. Okay, and then else, if thou wilt not let my people go, behold, I will send swarm of flies upon thee, and upon thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thy houses, and the houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and all the ground whereon they are. So, this reminds me of a few years back, man. There was a lot of flies in my region, man. You would go to this person's house, my house. It wasn't a differentiation, man. Right, and then there would be flies everywhere, man. Right, and then this is seeming like a plague of Egypt, man. Right, the Lord was sending his plagues, and that's when during right after COVID, actually, it was like around 2021, 2022, if I'm not mistaken, man. Flies everywhere, man. Right, and brothers had to get the exterminator, so on and so forth, get rid of these flies, man. Call the landlord, whatever the case was, man. But the flies was everywhere, man. It just reminded me of that. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, right, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end that thou mayest know that I am Yahweh in the midst of the earth. So this was a case where the Lord kept the flies away from his people, man. He's starting to show a differentiation between them, because the next verse it says, and I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow this shine. Salakia, tomorrow shall this sign be. So he's like, look, man, it's the difference between the Egyptians and the Israelites, man. It's against the children of Israel. A dog shall not move his tongue, man. That's what that's going into, man. And Yahweh did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into the servants' houses, and into all the land of Egypt. The land was corrupted by reason of the swarms of flies, man. And Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, go ye, sacrifice to your God in the land. So he's like, look, man, go do your sacrifices. And Moses said, it is not meet so to do, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to Yahweh our Elohim. Right? Lo, shall we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, and they will not stone us? Right? Will we go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and sacrifice to Yahweh our Elohim as he shall command us? And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that you may sacrifice unto Yahweh your Elohim in the wilderness. Only ye shall not go very far away and treat for me. So he's like, look, y'all can't go 3 days' journey, man, to sacrifice where the Lord called you to do. You got to stay close, man. Right? And Moses said, behold, I go out from thee, and I will entreat Yahweh, that the swarms of flies may depart from thee, from Pharaoh, and from his servants and from his people tomorrow. But let not Pharaoh deal deceitfully anymore, and not letting the people go to sacrifice to Yahweh. So it's like, look, stop deceiving us, man. Stop being deceptive, man. And Moses went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahweh. And Yahweh did according to the words of Moses, and he removed the swarms of flies from Pharaoh, from his servants, and from his people, and there remained not one. And Pharaoh hardened his heart at this time also, neither will he let the people go. He's starting to get into the good stuff now. Right? So that's actually wrong. So we had the serpent rod, the blood water, right? Serpent rod, the bloody water, the frogs, the lice, the flies, man. What's next, right? So this is Exodus chapter 9, verse 1. We could kind of see what's going to happen next, but we're going to just read it. Then Yahweh said unto Moses, go and unto Pharaoh, and tell him, thus saith Yahweh God of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. For if thou refuse to let them go, and will hold them still, behold, the hand of Yahweh is upon thy cattle which is in the field, upon the horses, and upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxes, upon the sheep. There shall be a grievous murrain. Let's get that word murrain. I know the word murrain is going to be, well, actually, I don't know what murrain is. It's dabar. Dabar, that's similar to speak or said. Pestilence, plagues, murrain, plague. So it says it's going to be great diseases, man, pretty much. Let's get that actual out of Google, because these modern words may need a little bit of further looking into. So it says an infectious disease, especially babesiosis, affecting cattle or other animals. Right? So this was a disease that was specific for animals. Man. Exodus 9:4. And the Lord shall sever between the children of the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. Right? Children of Israel. Right? So it says that Israel's cattle will not die, the nation, man. But the Egyptians going to have all their cattle and everything be smitten, man. Right? And it says, and Yahweh appointed at set time, saying, tomorrow Yahweh shall do this thing in the land, and Yahweh did that thing on the morrow, and all the cattle of Egypt died, but the cattle of the children of Israel died not one. And Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was not one of the cattle of the Israelites dead, and the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he did not let the people go. So the Lord was did it anyway, did his thing, man. And he ain't saying to Pharaoh, right? He ain't saying to Pharaoh, all right, man, if you don't do this. Oh no, he did. He was supposed to tell him Salakia, right? So where did we just leave off? And then the Pharaoh sent, and behold, there was none of the cattle of the Israelites. Okay, verse 8. So now the plague of boils, right? So we had serpent, blood water, frogs, lice, fleas. Then we have cattle. Right, and now we going into the emeralds, right? Okay, so now this is Exodus 9 and 8, right? And actually, this is why I said it's emeralds, Deuteronomy 28:27, and the Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. That's why I said emeralds, right? But Exodus 9 and 8, and Yahweh said unto Moses and unto Aaron, take to you handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses, Salaki, I'm trying to make sure, whatever, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the heaven and the sight of Pharaoh, and it shall become small dust in the land of Egypt, and it shall be a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast throughout all the land of Egypt. And they took ashes of the furnace and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward heaven, and it became a boil breaking forth with blains upon man and upon beast. So he threw up ashes, hit people, turning into boils, man. That's crazy. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because the boils, for the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. It was upon the magicians and all the Egyptians, man. So the Lord wouldn't even allow them to try and do it, man. These men was like, what the heck is going on? Pharaoh was probably like, yo, get them back, get them back. They couldn't do it because they was too worried about what they was looking like, man. And Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them as Yahweh had spoken unto Moses. So he was like, the Lord was like, look, he's still not going to listen, man. And the Lord knew it, man. So this would happen, man. And Yahweh said unto Moses, rise up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh, and saying to him, thus saith Yahweh Elohai, Hebrews, or Hebrews, it says, let my people go that they may serve me, for I will at this time send all my plagues upon thine heart and upon thy servants and upon thy people, that thou mayest know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I will stretch out my hand, that I might smite thee and thy people with pestilence, and thou shalt be cut off from the earth. And in very deed, for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power. This is actually what Romans 9 and 17 was talking about, right? Romans 9:17, right? That's exactly what it's saying, man. And it says, okay, verse 16, and in very deed, for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, that my name may be known, may be declared throughout all the earth. As yet exaltest thou thyself against my people, that thou wilt not let them go. So he said, look, you exalting yourself like this, I'm exalt myself in you, because you ain't letting my people go. So he's going to make it known to you, so that all the world may know the glory of Yahweh, man. Right? So now, this was boils. Now we about to go into the next one, right? And then behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very, very grievous hail, such as have not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. So he said, look, this is going to be the worst type of hell ever. Now we think about how sometimes you have in Florida and Texas, all over, giant baseball size hail or bigger bricks. The Lord did something great to Egypt, man. This could have been 30 times the size of that, man. The Lord could have been shooting down ice bricks down at these people, man. Right? That's how the Lord was operating, man. Right? He did plague them with hell, man. Right? Let me write that hell down, man. Okay, so now we're going to see. It says, send now therefore, gather thy cattle and all that thou hast in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hell shall come down upon them, and they shall die. So he said, look, man, bring everything in the house, man, because everything that's left outside going to die. He that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. So look, the men that was fearing the Lord, man, this could have been, and it ain't just fearing the Lord, but fearing the words of the Lord. This could have been the people of Egypt, man, doing this, man, because it says that they had feared what Yahweh was saying, man. They had a little bit of knowledge, unlike Pharaoh, man. The Lord hardened Pharaoh's hearts, not the Egyptians, man. Remember that, right? And it says, he that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle to flee into the houses. Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch forth thine hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man, upon beast, and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt, right? And it says, and Moses stretched forth his rod toward the heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail and fire. So he said, look, he ain't just sent hail, he sent thunder. So you got to picture this. You got hail coming down from heaven, man. Probably the size of, you can see these album covers all throughout the corners of my wall, the top of my wall here, man. Picture that, something about that size, man. About this size here, man. Roughly in the same size, man. This from yesterday. I don't clean too often, right? But this size is down from heaven. Down from heaven, man. Thunder on top of that. So on top of you seeing big size hail coming down from heaven. Now you got thunder. Boom, boom, boom. And then you got fire coming too, man. This is like a scene out of the Avengers or something, man. And the fire ran along upon the ground. So you got fire running along upon the ground, man. And Yahweh rained hell upon all the land of Egypt, man. So this was what happened, man. So there was hell and fire mingled with the hell. So you have hell hitting the ground, and then you got fire around it, man. Very grievous or very hard, man. Very troublesome, man. Such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. It never happened before like that. And the hell smote throughout all the land of Egypt all that was in the field, both man and beast, and hail smote every field, herb of the field, and break every tree of the field, man. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail. So the Lord spared the children of Israel. Now we got to get into this, right? Because we said that up here, we want to make sure that we're not losing this, right? Exodus 9 and 26, right? So he that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh. Who would have been these people that feared the word of Yahweh if it didn't fall upon the children of Israel, man? The other nations did fear the word of Yahweh at this time, man. Right? Not just the Egyptians, man. Because you got to remember, we had Midianites who sold Joseph into the hands of the Egyptians. This was like America nowadays, man. Egypt, America took that same ideology from Egypt, man. That's why we have different people here being killed, man. Not just the Egyptians, man. The servants of the Egyptians, man. But not the Israelites, man. That's what it says, man. And verse 27, and Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time, Yahweh is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. Of course, right? So he admitted that he was wrong, man. He's doing wrong, man. And this sin that he committed is by not listening to the words that Yahweh commanded him. Let the people go. Let the people go. The Lord commanded Moses to let the people, to tell Pharaoh to let the people go. And Moses was unto Pharaoh as a god, right? So then Moses, he played that mouth of God, and he spoken to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh did not hearken to the words of God, and he sinned by that, man, right? And that's how they are wicked, man. They not technically speaking sinners, but they sin by doing so, man. If the Lord tells somebody to do something, right, and you don't do it, you then become a sinner, man. Like Eve being a sinner, man. She did. If somebody had the knowledge of the tree of knowledge here right now, man, it wouldn't technically be a sin, right? Because we wouldn't know what it looked like anyway. But it wouldn't be a sin to eat of it because the Lord commanded Adam not to eat of it, right? Now that she ate of it, the tree of now good and evil ain't a factor no more, man. We don't have to eat of the tree of fruit of good and evil, man, because it's already up here, man. Right? That's what. And I'm not saying that. Okay, yeah, you can go and eat of the tree of evil willingly. No, man. What I'm saying is that when you don't listen to the words of the Lord, that's how you become in sin, man. That's how Pharaoh sinned, man, because the law, statutes, commandments were given unto Israel, man, not the Egyptians, not the Canaanites, not the Canaanites, man. So continuing on, man. That happens too often. Entreat Yahweh, for it is enough that there be no more mighty thunderings in hell. So he said the mighty thunderings first, man, because that was great, man. And ye shall stay no longer, right? And Moses said unto Aaron, as soon as I am going out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto Yahweh, and the thunder shall cease, neither shall there be any more hail. Thou mayest know that the earth is Yahweh's. Right? But as for thee and thy servants, I know that ye will not fear Yahweh Elohai, right? And it says, and the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the air, and the flax was bowed, right? But the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. This is telling you about what time of year it is, man. The wheat wasn't grown, so this was during the colder months, right? And then continuing on, and Moses went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread abroad his hands unto Yahweh, right? And the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sinned yet more, because he didn't want to let the people go, and hardened his heart, and he and his servants, right? And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as Yahweh had spoken by Moses, right? A couple more chapters, right? Actually, 3 more chapters, so halfway there, right? And Yahweh said unto Moses, go in unto Pharaoh, right? For I have hardened his heart, and the heart of his servants, that I may show these my signs before him, and that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son and of thy son's sons what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that ye may know that I am Yahweh, right? So this is what you would call in the Jewish community, what is the hold on. The Haggadah, right? This is what the Jewish people believe that is needed to be done on the Passover, right? They read the Haggadah, right, and then they say this. If you don't, do you have a Haggadah, right? A Haggadah is technically speaking Exodus, and it's to be read aloud during the Seder, but this is not what they doing, man. They just actually just doing their own thing, man. Right? They going about it their own way, man. Right? So it says, so this is why they say that they need to have that Haggadah for the Passover. And for the Passover, we do read about the Exodus, man. We don't just skip over the Exodus, man. We read about first and foremost Yahweh Shai and his ultimate sacrifice, right? How he went about the Exodus, and then we get into the Exodus of the Passover, man. And what happened? Sometimes we just have discussions on what happens because we need to know what the Lord's sign was, man. And Moses and Aaron came unto Pharaoh and said unto him, thus saith Yahweh God of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou will refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts. Like, I'm just writing down everything that happens accordingly, because I'm gonna go and probably put this into a on paper and format it so that I can remember it. I'm probably gonna end up getting these things all up on the walls and everything so that I can have it for my memory, man. It's good to write stuff down and put it up on the wall so that when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah. Like, I know I'm going on a tangent just a little bit, but like with Deuteronomy 8 and 10, when thou art full and well, bless Yahweh for the land that you shall enter, right? Or something along those lines. I'm roughly paraphrasing that, but that's written down, and now I know when I'm done eating, I say Barakatah Yahweh, man. And that's just something that always come to my mind when I'm eating. It's on my wall, and I remember when I'm done eating, man. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, every time, man. Or most of the time, if I forget, I ask the Lord for forgiveness. Forgive me for my sins, unseen, or forgive me for not saying Barakatah, not blessing you after I'm done eating. Whatever the case is, man. Right? But that's how we get about it, man. That's why I write stuff down like this, right? Else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring in locusts into thy coasts, and they shall cover the face of the earth, and that one cannot be able to see the earth. So it says, look, it's going to be so many locusts, you ain't going to be able to see the ground, man. And they shall eat the residue of that which is escaped. See, he called me. Which remaineth unto you from the hell, and shall eat every tree which groweth from out the field. And they shall fill thy houses, and thy houses of all thy servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers have seen since the day that they were upon earth unto this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. Salakia, let me send this message real quick. Salakia. All right, so I left off here, right? If thou shalt fill thy and they shall fill thy houses, and the houses of all thy servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, with neither thy fathers nor thy fathers' fathers have seen since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day, and he turned himself and went unto from Pharaoh, right? Salakia. Let me continue on. I know chapter 12 is long, so I'm not about to stop this video to get a recording session in, man. I'm about to keep this going, man. And Pharaoh's servant said unto him, how long shall this man be a snare unto us? Let the men go, that they may serve Yahweh their God. Knowest thou not that the king, that Egypt is destroyed? And Moses and Aaron were brought again unto Pharaoh, and he said unto them, go, serve Yahweh your power. But who are they that shall go? And Moses said, we will go with our young and with our old, and with our sons and with our daughters, with our flocks and with our herds we will go, for we must hold a feast unto Yahweh. So they was like, look, everybody got to go, because we're trying to serve the Lord and keep the Passover. But they didn't say it was the Passover yet. But that's what they was trying to do. And he said unto them, let Yahweh be so with you, as I will let you go, and your little ones look to it, for evil is before you, not so. Go now, ye that are men, and serve Yahweh, for that ye did desire. And they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. So he says, nah, men can go, right? And Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand over the land of Egypt for locusts, that they may come upon the land of Egypt, and eat every herb of the land, and even all that the hell hath left. And Moses stretched forth his rod over the land of Egypt, and Yahweh brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. So in this time, Israel, well, we could eat locusts, man. So this ain't really too big of a problem for us, but it is what it is, man. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them they were no such locusts as they, neither as after them shall such be. So it says, look, nobody gonna see this again, man. Right? This is gonna be the number one type of locust plague I'm sending, man. Right? And now the Lord will send bees and flies and so on and so forth. But he said the locust not gonna happen like this again, man. And he said, for they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, man. And they did eat every herb of the land, and all the fruit of the trees which the hell had left. And there remained not any green thing in the trees or in the herbs of the field throughout all the land of Egypt. So this is about to be the beginning of the year, man. Right? The Lord plagued everything in the beginning of the year for them, man. And then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against Yahweh, your God, and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin only this once, and entreat Yahweh that he may take away from me this death only. So he said, look, man, I messed up. I'm sorry. Forgive me for this sin, right? So that we don't have to die, man. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahweh. So Moses was a great dude, man, because he still went and did these over and over and over again, man, right? It's crazy, but and Yahweh turned a mighty strong one. Hold on, let me see. Slovakia. All right. Where did I just leave off? And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated Yahweh, right? And Yahweh turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coast of Egypt, man. But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. So he went again, man. Right? And then it says darkness, man. And Yahweh said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be left, or which may be felt. I'm just writing down darkness, man. Right? So he said this is going to be so dark you could feel the darkness, man. Right? And Moses stretched, and this was the angel of darkness, man. Right? That's why he sent it first, man. Right? And Moses stretched forth his hand toward the heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days, man. The Lord did it 3 days, man. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings, man. Israel had lights, man. So they was good, man. They was chilling, man. The Lord plagued Egypt and made Israelites good, man. That's how the Lord is going to do to America, man. Right? Even though a lot of Israelites are going to have to die on this side, ultimately, in the end, the other nations going to have to go through the plagues, and we're going to be spared from it, man. Right? And I got to get that, obviously. I got to get that. It ain't no way I can't get Revelation 18, right? Come out of her, my people. Okay, so this is Revelation 18:4. This is the understanding of it. That's why I said this. And I heard another voice come from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, right? So this is what's going to happen to this place, man. The plagues is going to hit it, and you don't want to be receiving the plagues, because the Lord going to plague everybody who's against it, man. You don't want to be partaking of them plagues, man. Right? The Israelites had light in their dwellings, and Pharaoh called unto Moses and said, go ye serve Yahweh, only let your flocks and your herds be stayed, let your little ones also go with you. So now he's like, look, your men can go. And then he's like, look, your men and your women and children can go, man. Right? But we need your cattle, man. It ain't nothing for us to eat here, man. Right? And Moses said, thou must give us also sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice unto Yahweh our power, man. So he was like, look, man, we need these, because we need to sacrifice to our God, man. Our cattle also shall go with us. There shall not be an hoof left behind. Right? So he said, look, y'all ain't getting a damn thing. Right? No negotiations, man. We asked you what we needed, and we want it now, man. Right? And for there must we take to serve Yahweh our power, and we know not with what we must serve Yahweh until we come thither. So he said, look, Yahweh more important. We don't know what we need to serve the Lord, but we know we got to serve him, man. Right? So we need everything we got, and we taking everything we got to go serve the Lord, man. Right? But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he would not let them go, man. So he's like, man, nah, I ain't doing that. Pharaoh was a stiff-hearted person, but the Lord put that on him, man. Who's to say that Pharaoh was always a stiff-hearted person, man? Right? He might have just had this time right here where the Lord put the spirit upon him, and he stayed stiff-hearted for that time, man. Who knows? It don't tell you in the scripture, man. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't, man. But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he let them not go. And Pharaoh said unto him, go thee from me, take heed to thyself, see my face no more, for in that day thou seest my face, thou shalt die. So he's like, look, if I see you again, you're dead, man. And then that's when it all started, man. This next chapter about to get lit. And Moses said, thou hast spoken well. I will see thy face no more again. He was like, that's all right, ugly dude. I don't want to see you no more anyway. Ugly as hell. Ugly ass boy. Right? He ain't clown him, but he was like, look, man, I don't care. I ain't got to see you again, right? Now, this is what? The last plague, man. Right? And even if we go here to Exodus 3:21, I could highlight it like that and get it. It says, and I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, and it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty. Verse 22, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor and her that sojourneth in her house jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. Remember that, man. The Lord did this, man. He's going to make it come to pass. I don't want to go further, though. And it says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, this is Exodus 11, yet I will bring one more plague upon Pharaoh and upon Egypt. Afterwards, he will let you go from hence. When he shall let you go, he shall surely thrust you out hence altogether. So he's like, look, he going to let y'all go, but he going to chase y'all, man. He going to give y'all hell when he letting y'all go, man. Speak now in the ears of the people. He ain't even say speaking to Pharaoh, because he knew Pharaoh wasn't trying to see him no more, because Pharaoh was going to kill him. So he's like, look, we got to talk to the children of the people now, right? And let every man borrow of his neighbor, and every woman of her neighbor, jewels of silver and jewels of gold. That's Exodus 3 and 21 and 22, right? And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. Moreover, the man Moses was very great in the land of Egypt and in the sight of Pharaoh's servants and in the sight of the people. And Moses said, thus saith Yahweh, about midnight I will go out in the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. Broken pen. I'm not be able to write anything down for the rest of this lesson. Yep. Psych. I lied. Oh, there's something on this floor. It's a clean floor. I got pins on a pen on the floor. That's my last one in here though. But come on, we going to verse 3. Oh no. Alright, I was at 5 where I was highlighted. And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. So we right in here, slay the firstborn. So it was serpent rod, blood water, frogs, lice, fleas, cattle, boil, hail, locust, darkness, and then he's gonna slay the firstborn. That was foretold, right? He about to make it happen, right? And even unto the firstborn of the maid servants that is behind the mill, and the firstborn of the beast, and there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it. Because you got to remember, everybody's firstborn son is dying, right? Except for the Israelites, right? I know I spoiled the next verse, but you got to think, everybody child dying at the same time. Of course, it's gonna be great cries, man. And then when it start coming together, that everybody realizing, yo, look, your firstborn died, your firstborn, and then they're gonna be, oh my God, like crazy, man. And this is the precept that I was gonna get earlier, but I decided not to because it was coming up, right? And it says, nor shall be like none, nor shall be like it anymore. So it says nothing going to happen like this again. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. The dog is talking about who, right? Before we go any further, let's get that dog. Let's get that dog, man. Come on, Matthew 15, right? And then we're going to go here. Matthew 15:22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a daughter. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I have not sent her but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. Right? But he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs. Against the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. That's why it's saying that here, man. Dogs not going to be able to speak up against the children of Israel, man, or the other nations, man. That's in Exodus, man. Against man or beast, that they may know how Yahweh doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So the Lord indicating here that, look, it's time to show that there's a difference, man. Right, and all these thy servants shall come down unto thee and bow themselves unto me, saying, get thee out. And all the people that follow thee after that I will go out. And he went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. And Yahweh said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Yahweh, and Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go out of his hand. Now, Exodus 12 is a great chapter, man. There's some precepts in here, some law. Well, precept is law. There's some it's some ordinances. It's a lot of things in here that's imperative to the Passover, man. Going into the Passover for my congregation, there's some organizations that's having it this week. There's some organizations that had it 2 weeks ago, man. But as long as we keep in the Passover, right, that's what matters most, right? But we're gonna see how it's kept, man. All right, so this Exodus 12 and 1, we got 54 verses in this whole chapter, 51 verses, man. So we're gonna get all 51 verses, man. So bear with me while we get into this, man. Right, so this Exodus 12:1, like I said already. And Yahweh speaking to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, "This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year unto you." So we could see that everything was dead in the land of Egypt, except for the wheat, right? It was I don't know. It was the wheat, if I'm not mistaken. It was something along those lines, right? So everything was dead, and it was coming to life, but the barley or whatever, the wheat wasn't even sprung up yet. That's how we know, man. Right? Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, so the first month, the 10th day of the first month, and then we know that after the winter, and everything is dead and coming back to life, and what we would call spring, this is actually going to be referred to as summer, right? There was only two seasons in the Bible, summer and winter. We don't have fall and autumn, or autumn and spring in the Bible, man. It's not there, right? So when we see summer and winter here, man, right, this is the beginning of the year, man, right? And yes, some people will say that it's spring. Yes, this is spring in our eyes, but according to the Bible, we don't have the concept of spring. We don't have the concept of 4 seasons, right? Let me just make sure I'm not adding anything to the scripture. Yeah. I don't have the words 4 seasons anywhere in the Bible. And if you want to find something about the seasons and how it operates, that would be Second Esdras, man. Right? Actually, let me just remove this 4 from here. I'm not going to go and look for it everywhere, but I'm going to type in season, right? And then I'm going to type in we could either get Second Esdras. So the first instance is Second Esdras 8:41. Sown good in the season, so that's not talking about fall, right? Rain in due season, Exodus 8:43. Esdras, right? Second Esdras 13:26. It says, God the highest have kept a great season, right? Exodus 13:58, and because he governeth the same and such things as fall in their seasons, and there I sat 3 days. So this ain't talking about the fall. This is talking about things that happen during different seasons, man. But we should be able to see the concept of 4 seasons in the Bible, right? We see winter, we see summer, we don't see spring and fall here, man. It's not mentioned. So I'm not gonna say that it's not a concept of the Bible, but 4 seasons was never really too much in the Bible, right? Because even if you're breaking down the year, it's if we're gonna go 4 seasons for every season, or 4 months, 3 months for every season. What about the 13th month? In the winter, you would have 5 months sometimes, or 4 months actually, 4 months sometimes instead of the 3. So that's gonna be throwing it all out balance as opposed to 6 and 7 or 6 and 6. You feel what I'm saying? So you just gotta use your knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and decipher what is what. If you got precepts to deny or prove that it's more than 1 season, just bring your information and present it to me. You can present it on this video or anywhere else, man. I'm not opposed to correction. I'm not above correction, man. Right? And it's so it says the 10th day of this month you shall take to them every man a lamb according to their house, of their fathers a lamb for an house, man. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb. So look, it's telling you the men, right? But it's also telling you how to deal with the lamb, right? Without, did it say without? Okay, it didn't say that yet, actually. But it's saying, look, if you in a house and you can't eat a whole lamb, get with your neighbor. Now, is the neighbor the Egyptians? No, the Egyptians weren't able to keep the Passover. This is initially setting the mark for who the neighbors are in the Leviticus 19 or Matthew 17, right? Hold on. I just went out of Matthew. I know it's not Matthew 22:39, right? So, yeah, this is what the neighbor is talking about here. And Matthew 22, Leviticus 19, man. This is the neighbor, man. The Israelites, man. Right? Your lamb shall be without blemish. So we needed lamb without blemish. A male of the first year. So we needed a male lamb of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or of the goat. So you could have a lamb, which is a sheep or a goat, and a male. Right? And ye shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. So it says, look, you're going to keep it until the 14th day, which is the Passover, not the 15th day, the 14th day, right? And you're going to kill the Passover, man, right? And let the blood, and let's see this, man. And, well, yeah, you're supposed to let the blood hit the ground, right? And when you letting the blood hit the ground, you're supposed to get like something, a cup or something, and then take that blood. But we're going to get it, right? And they shall take up the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper posts of the houses, right, wherein they shall eat it. So it says, look, you gotta get your wall, your doorpost covered with blood, and the top of the post, man, right? Because you still should be doing this to this day, man, right? And as for men who partaking of Passover the best way they can, right? Like my congregation, we only got 4 members, $500 for a lamb male without blemish in America. That's a little bit tough for 3 people, right? So we're doing the best we can. We've been raising money for the past few months to get the lamb, to get the Passover ready, man, right? So we're rehearsing the righteous acts in the land of our captivity. We're rehearsing it. We're trying our best, man, right? And this is our congregation. We ain't got a whole lamb, but in the future, we're going to be planning to get a whole lamb. It's not that we can't do it, but we don't have the means to do it now. But we're going to be able to do it in the future. Yahweh right? And they should, okay, so we've seen that, right? And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. So it says, look, you got to eat it roast with fire. So we do a grill, man. You got to eat it over the flame, man. We can't be okay, I'm going to bake this. No, you don't bake the Passover lamb, man. That's not over a fire, man. That's a convection oven, man, right? You don't do it over in a what is it called? The air fryer, man. You don't do it in the griddle, man. You gotta do it with fire, man. Right? And yeah, the coals might not be fire per se, but you're attempting to do it the right way, right? You get a grill, you got the fire going, you let the fire turn into embers and everything, and then you get the Passover cooked, man, right? And it says you got to eat it with fire and unleavened bread. So unleavened bread is a requirement for the Passover, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. We know Yahushua came and he implemented the wine into this, man. Right, so now we eat kosher for Passover wine without yeast in it, man. Right, so we gotta understand what it is and how it's supposed to be partaking in. Right, these are the steps to the Passover. Right, and it says, "Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire." So it says, "Don't eat it with water, man. Don't eat of it boiled, man." So it's just being specific. His head with his legs and with the pertinence thereof. So it says, look. The guts stay, right? The head and legs stay, man. You don't need to cut any of it, man. Leave it whole, man. And ye shall let nothing remain of it until the morning. That which remaineth of it until the morning, ye shall burn with fire. So it says, whatever left over, you got to burn it with fire, right? And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded. So you need a girdle on, man. When you got the Passover lamb, you're supposed to have a girdle on. Your shoes on your feet. You need to keep shoes on your feet for the Passover, and a staff, and your staff in your hand, and you need a staff, man. This is so the Passover is so important. You got a strict diet, and you got a strict dress code for this ceremony, man. Right? This ain't nothing just like simple, man. The Lord asked us to do this for a reason, man. He asked us to do it this way for a reason. And then when we do it as the ways of the Lord, man. Right? And it says, man, your staff's in your hand and ye shall eat it in haste. So it says, don't eat it slowly. Don't enjoy the food, man. Eat it quick, man. right? We about to get out of here, man. The Lord said, eat it quick. It is the Lord's Passover, man. So the Lord, he gave you what it was here, man. He said, look, man, this, you got to do this, and this, man, right? Now he about to tell you why you doing all this, right? It says, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh. So he said, look, I need to do this because I'm going to kill everybody. Every firstborn I'm killing. They got to go tonight, right? And blood, or not tonight, but they got to go. I'm killing them, man. They dying, right? And ye shall, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So he's like, look, this is a sign. I'm passing over any house I see blood on it, man, right? And this was a commandment of the Lord. So if we didn't do it, the Lord was going to kill us for it, man, right? We need to take that same ideology and apply it to modern day, man. If we don't keep the Passover according to how the Lord asks us, he's going to kill us, man, right? And according to how Yahweh Shai implemented it, we're going to be killed, man, right? And this, and look, right? And this is the next verse. It says, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened breads. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Right? And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, right? That only may be done of you. So he says, look, the only work you could do in this day is what you cook. You could cook. That's what it says. That's what it says. Right? And it says, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in the selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore ye shall observe ye this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. And the first month, on the 15th day of the month at even, you shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. Right? So it's saying from the 14th day until the 21st day, right, you need to eat unleavened bread. So if you do the math, 14 to 21, right, that's 7 days, man, right? So it is what it is, man. That's what the scripture says, man, right? The 14th to the 21st day, man. On the 22nd day, I'm not going to be eating unleavened bread I'm not going to be eating unleavened bread on the 22nd day. On the 23rd day, right, or the 22nd day, at the end of it, going into the 23rd day, the 23rd day at even, right, that's when I'm going to be partaking in eating unleavened bread again, man, right? Because it does say 7 days shall you eat, 7 days shall you not eat unleavened bread. Let me get that 15th day. I want it out of, hold on, bread. So Leviticus 23:6. I'm just going to get this. And this is why I keep it a Passover this way, right? But I wouldn't say it's necessarily too wrong to do it. But I would say keep it until the 22nd, right? Because this is still Moses here, man, right? This is the second time he was told about it, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it says, this is talking about the Passover, right? And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. And the first day ye shall have a holy convocation, ye shall do no sober work, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. And the 7th day is an holy convocation, ye shall do no sober work therein. The 15th day of the month is the unleavened bread. First day of it, 7 days. So I would say that 7 days you got to keep the unleavened bread, man. That's my understanding of it, man. If You're gonna do it so and so forth. It says here specifically verbatim, man, that you do it until the 21st day, man. But we do it to the 22nd, right? We're gonna keep it to the 22nd because in Leviticus 23, that's more so for Israel, man. This was for that time, man, right? On the 14th day. The 15th day is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, man. That's the 14th day is the Passover. The 15th day is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. 7 days you keep unleavened bread. The 22nd day will be the end of Passover, man. And it would actually be the 23rd day. Whatever you want to say, it is what it is. That's how I see it according to Leviticus 23. This was for the memorial that we go into when we bringing out the children of Israel again out of Egypt. But this is what we go for ordinance, right? This is what we go for, how we keep the feast days, man. This is our feast here, man. Right? It tell you about the Sabbath, so on and so forth, man. Right? And then, if I'm not mistaken, in Deuteronomy, it tell you again, man. Right? Okay, it don't. But even in, no, it ain't there. So we're just going to continue on, though. And that's the only instance of that 15th day here that is the unleavened bread, man. So if we want to go off of it, you could keep it the 21st day and then be like, okay, I kept it. But you want to be seen as acceptable in the eyes of the Most High, right? So we continuing on, man. Here it says 7 days there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that so shall be cut off from the congregation, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. This ain't talking about a non-Israelite. It's talking about Israel. How does someone not part of the 12 tribes of Israel get cut off from Israel? This is not talking about the other nation. That's Gar. That's Gar. I'm not going to question it. It's Gar, right? Let's go. Stranger, Gar. It's simple, Gawar, or Bagawar, right? That's what it is, man. We see that implication every time used for stranger, implying to Israel, man. This is not every time a stranger applied to Israel, but in certain instances, Israel is referred to as a stranger. So continuing on, you shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread, right? So it says, it don't say you shall not eat anything, you shall not eat leavened bread. It said you shall eat nothing leavened, right? So if you got an ingredient that have baking soda in it, you should not be eating it. If you got an ingredient that has baking powder in it, you should not eat it. If you got something that has yeast in it, you should not be eating nor drinking it, man. Right? Beer should not be getting drunk on the Passover, man. Right? Certain wines cannot get drink on the Passover, man. Right? And other things accordingly, man. Right? So some people will say vinegar, but vinegar is not a leavening agent, right? Vinegar put with baking soda becomes a leavening agent. And then the reasoning behind this, and I'm going on a tangent for a reason. The reasoning behind this, right, of vinegar not being a leavening agent. So if you want to eat, I'm going to say if you want to eat, what is it called? Salad dressings, right? Except for the creamy ones. The creamy ones have leavening agents in it, though, right? So the vinegar-based vinaigrettes and stuff like that, you could eat that on the Passover, man. Right? They would tell you, a lot of Israel will tell you can't eat that on the Passover, but Yahweh Shai, though our Lord, was given vinegar on the Passover. Right? I could go into it and go into Chat GPT and show you, but I don't want to. I don't want to. You could do the research for yourself. Vinegar is not a leavening agent, and it's still not a leavening agent with vinegar. With baking soda, right? It just has a reaction. The baking soda is the leavening agent, man. Right? And we can't go around it, man. We can't get around that, man. So it is what it is. If you want to bug up against that, you know where to find me in the comments, man. Go and address it there, man. And I will accordingly address your comments, right? So, yeah, man, it says, then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take your lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. So he said, look, I got to do this, man. Actually, what you want to see is back in the beginning of Exodus, it mentioned who the elders of Israel was, man. So these people was mentioned for a reason because we could see who Moses was bringing around to tell them what to do, man. Right? And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, right? And none of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning. So he said, look, it's the 10th day. We about to do this. Strike the post, right? And don't leave the house. Something crazy about to happen. Stay inside. You think Israel stayed inside? Of course they did, man. Not stupid at this time, right? So now we continuing on. It says, for Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, Yahweh will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in into your houses to smite you. So he's sending the destroyer, man, the angel of darkness, man. This is the destroyer, right? Yahweh Shai is the destroyer as well. If you have ears to hear, let them hear, man. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into some lessons about how Yahweh Shai is the destroyer, and I may just do how Yahweh Shai is the angel of the Lord lesson too. I'm writing down that because I need that. Right, I might do that angel of the Lord post sooner than rather than later. As opposed to the destroyer, that may be unfounded. But we're gonna do research for the destroyer. I could easily do a lesson right now on how he is the angel of the Lord, John 1, and so on and so forth. But as opposed to the destroyer, we're gonna have to get some videos and studies into that and see the research of why certain people call him the destroyer. A lot of times though, and this is a tangent, I know I don't want to go on a tangent, but it is. A lot of times though, what Israel will say, right, the elders of Israel, they will say things that they've been told and been passed down to them from their elders, right? And sometimes the elders didn't do the research and they just saying things, man. Right? You gotta do all research that these elders not doing, man. You gotta do it and you gotta prove it, man. Right? And then when you come out of your mouth and you saying things, you're not saying it out of ignorance or just recitation, but you saying it out of a place of knowing, man. Right? And to give an example, not even an elder, but I know not too many people like this brother right now, but Elazar, man. He mentioned how the Algerians might make up the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. I've been looking for research for that for months, right? Because the one Algerian that stick out to me are the Albanians. One of the two, right? The one Albanian or Algerian, I'm not sure who he is, man, but Tony Stabaki, man. He does give off Jake vibes, man. He got the salt of the earth vibe, man. But I can't find the research for that. So I don't go off and saying that Algerians and Albanians are Israelites, man. Right? I did do the research for the Philippines or the Philippines, right? I did the research for the what is it? Not the people of Thailand, right? But the it's one that a lot of Israel will say the Sicilians, man, right? And then I went into different tribes in Africa, man. And I've done the research for all these people, man. When it comes down to it, it's easy to find. But when it comes down to certain things, you can't just run with what's being said, i.e., the destroyer being Yahweh Shai. We don't really know this, but we could go with it. The inference that it could potentially is Yahweh Shai, man. Right? This could also be Gabriel, man. But we're not going to insert nothing. We're not going to assume what it is, man. We're just going to keep on reading, and then, Lord willing, that information comes to me so I could give it to y'all. Right? And it says, ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and thy sons forever. So he says, look, you observing this forever. This ain't supposed to be not kept. It's supposed to be a perpetual thing, man. Right? Okay, I'm gonna keep on going. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance. Okay, and it shall come to pass when ye come into the land which Yahweh will give you, according as he have promised, that ye shall keep this service. Right. So it says, even in the land when you go, you're gonna keep this, man. This ain't just saying that you can only keep the Lord's Passover in the land. He just saying, look, when you get to the land, you're gonna keep this service, right? A lot of people gonna be like, look, you can't keep the Passover unless it's in Israel. You can't keep the tabernacles unless they in Israel, so on and so forth. But the Lord said to rehearse the righteous acts in the land of drawing water, man. This is a righteous act. I don't think the Lord is displeased with us trying to keep this Passover, trying to keep tabernacles, trying to keep feast of first fruits, so on and so forth, man. You can't be thinking that, man. Right? And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? This is where the Haggadah is, man. It says, then ye shall say, it is the service of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshiped. And the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so that this was a time when Israel was all righteous, believe it or not. Them doing what the Lord said, that's considered all Israel being righteous. Whether you want to accept it, believe it, understand it or not, right? Even though these same people here committed sins afterwards, in this moment they was all righteous, right? In the eyes of the Lord, they was all righteous because they followed what the Lord said, man, right? So continuing on, and it came to pass that at midnight Yahweh smote the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle, right? So the Lord chopping them down, right? And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. So every house had somebody dead in it, right? And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as ye have said. He said, get the hell out of my land. Y'all got to go, right? Donald Trump deporting all these people. Pharaoh was deporting the Israelites, man, right? But they've been wanting to leave, man. The Israelites been wanting to go. So he was doing them a favor, right? And also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. He said, look, go and leave your blessings with me, right? So continuing on, and the Egyptians were urging upon the people that they might send them out of the hand in haste, out of the land in haste. So they was quick. They were like, all right, boom, 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 boom. Let's get this, let's get that, let's go, right? For they said, we be all dead men. So they thought that they was about to die, man. Right, and the people took their dough before it was leavened, right? So it was technically leavening agents in these bread, man, right? Their kneading trials being bound up in their cloths and upon their shoulders, and the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. They borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment. So yes, they was quickly moving out of the land of Egypt. We ain't leaving out of the land of America right now. So what we do is we make sure we have that unleavened bread without the leavening agents, man. It's not hard to get. It's not hard to make, right? And the children of Israel did according to the words of Moses, and they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. So they took it, man. They ain't borrowed nothing. They took it, right? And it say borrowed, man, but it wasn't a payback period, man, right? We got it and we left, man, right? And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they let unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. They took everything, man, right? And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Sukkah, about 600,000 on foot. So it was about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children. So it was just 600,000 men alone, and then also women and children along with them, right? This is why it says men here, and beside children, where's the women at right here, right? This is why it says, and a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. Moses' rib was not an Israelite, right? She was a Midianite, man, right? Let me write this down real quick, right? Get this going. So that makes up some of them, man. And you got to think the rest of the children of Israel all didn't have Israelite wives, man. They was doing what they had to do, man. Right? They was getting busy, right? Like the scripture already said, right? So continuing on, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither they prepared themselves any victual. Now the sojourning children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. Or, yeah. So they dwelt in Egypt for 430 years. That's what it's saying, right? And it came to pass at the end of 430 years, even the self same day, it came to pass that all the hosts of heaven of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt. So it says, look, Yahweh got out of Egypt, man. He wasn't dealing with Egypt no more, man. Right? So Exodus 12 and 42, it is a night to be observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out of the land of Egypt. This is why we keep the Passover. This is that night of Yahweh to be observed of all the children of Israel and their generations. This means forever. Generations means as long as you are generating or making more children, right? And it says, and Yahweh said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof, man. Now this one, we got to get this. I did a lesson about strangers, but this is where it all stemmed from, right? Nakar. This is not the same stranger, man. Nakar. Stranger, alien, foreigner, alien, foreignness, right? That which is foreign, foreignness, foreign gods, alien, foreigner, foreign, vanities. So, heathendom. This is what this is talking about. A heathen, not the Israelites, right? You're going to find that same word, heathendom, potentially in Gar, but it's not what the Gar is typically talking about. And you do have one instance where Gar is used for another nation, man. So I'm continuing on, man. So it says, no stranger shall eat of the Passover, right? So this is literally saying only Israel could eat of the Passover, right? And it also said that if the Israelite or if the stranger doesn't eat it, then he shall be cut off from the people of Israel. So this can't be the same stranger as that stranger. And through the Hebrew, we see that this is Nakar and the other one is Gar, man. But every man's servant that is brought for more money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat up thereof. So it says if you bought a servant for money, right? This could be heathens, then they can eat of the Passover, right? A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof, right? So a foreigner and a hired servant can't eat of the Passover, man. Right? So wait. That mean that they can't eat it, right? Of course it mean that they can't eat it, right? Let's get these servant, right? I bet, right? Let's get the same servant in this next one. Hired servant, right? Shakayar. Difference, right? Hired servant, hireling, hired man, hired of animal, hireling, hired laborer, mercenary. So this could be somebody who's gonna fight with Israel, man, fight alongside Israel, man, right? But this one is talking about servant, bondman, bondage, bond servant on all sides, slave servant. So servants, worshipers of God, servant in special sense of prophets, Levites, servant of Israel, servant as form of address between equals. So this could be potentially talking about how when you buy in Hebrew servant, hold on, let me just get this precept. So Exodus 21 and 2, if thou buy in Hebrew servant, that's a higher servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free of nothing. For nothing. So this is what that's talking about, right? The Lord had to give us that in advance to see, man, right? The man that is bought for money, yeah, you could buy him, man, but it's not always talking about that, man, right? And then a foreigner can't eat it and a hired servant can't eat it. So it's not potentially talking about the same people, man, right? And it says, in one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth. And I will go to the instance of if the children of the heathen do circumcise themselves and follow after they Israelite masters, then of course they will be able to, man. This is talking about people who not following the ways of the Israelites, man. Right? Heathens, man, and they heathendom, man. Right? That's the differentiation between these two. I would say that potentially, I'm not going to say that for sure, but potentially the other nations could keep it, because of course you do have Israelites who could be circumcised after they come with the Israelite because they didn't know that they were supposed to get circumcised, or you got the heathens that have to be circumcised to serve us, man. Right? It says, in one house shall it be eaten, thou shalt not carry forth out of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. So it says, look, you can't break the bones, right? And you can't take the meat out of the house, man. Eat it in the house and keep it there, man. Right? And then obviously, and what it means is you shouldn't take the meat and go to next door, give them some, or you gotta stay where you at, man. Right? All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. So it's saying, look here, man. All the congregation of Israel gotta keep this. It don't matter about these other people, man. Israel has to keep it. That's who the Lord worried about, man. Right? And this is the same stranger here about sojourner, right? Let's get that 48. It's Gar. So who is that talking about? And any implication? Israel, man. But it says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, right? Let all his males be circumcised. This is not talking about any other nation but Israel, man. Right? So the stranger and the manservant potentially could be talking about the same person, man. Right? And it says, hey, man, they might have been born somewhere else, man. Right? And now they back with us, but now they got to keep the Passover, man. And they got to be circumcised. And let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land. Because how is he born? One that is born in the land? Because he was born outside of the land, and now he back in his homeland. He's still an Israelite by blood, man, right? Let's get that, I don't got a Romans open, so let's go to this Romans. Right? Perfect inflection, man. So this is Romans 11 and 22. It says, behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of God on them which fell. Those who aren't born in the land, they are the ones who fell, right? Severity, but toward thee goodness, if thou continue in his goodness, otherwise thou also shall be cut off. So he says, look, he cut off these people. They fell, man. Right, but they got the chance to come back, and they also, if they abide not still in the unbelief, shall be grafted in. Right, so if they leave their unbelief, they're gonna be grafted in, or they're gonna be allowed back in, man. For God is able to graft them in again. How do you get grafted in if you were not a part of that original olive tree? But that's rather here nor there. That's what that's talking about, man. Stranger being able to keep the Passover. That's talking about the children of Israel, man. Right, one law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. So it says, look, y'all got the same law. So who has the same law? Israel and Israel. Israel has the same laws, man. Thus did all the children of Israel as Yahweh commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they, right? And it came to pass the selfsame day that Yahweh did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies. Right. So with that, I want to say Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. EGA till we see the day.